Hello, my name is Emily, and in this video I'm going to show you my process of making these sunset digital paintings in Photoshop. The first thing I did was create 9 small thumbnail sketches. Before this, I was really struggling with this subject and was getting into detail way too quickly. I decided to start small with quantity and then work and select my way out from there. I only wanted to do 4 paintings, but I wanted to be able to have a selection of ideas to choose from, and not just go with the first 4 sunset ideas that came to mind. This really helped me loosen up and relieve the stress of getting everything perfect. Right now, I'm just painting rough ideas of possible color schemes and cloud shapes. Sunsets can have many different variations of colors and shapes. The possibilities are almost endless. From looking at references, I've observed that sunsets tend to fade out from white to yellow to orange to red to pink, and then from purple to blue. Those hues can vary in saturation or brightness. For example, orange can be brown or blend with brown in some way. Blue can turn to gray or blend with gray. And hot pink can change and vary with light pink, etc. Almost any color can be in a sunset. Green is the only color you will rarely see. You will most likely only see green in a sunset when thin yellow clouds overlay bright blue skies. You can see this in the thumbnail I'm drawing now. After I finished the rest of my thumbnails, I picked one of my favorite ones and moved it to a new document. I made the thumbnail larger and duplicated it 4 times on my page. This is where I started to add more detail and made 4 different variations of the same sunset. This sunset is one of the most saturated and colorful sunsets of my thumbnail selection. I really like the colors, so I didn't change too much in that regard. I decided to experiment with the cloud shapes to see if I could make it more interesting. I made the cloud shapes by simply breaking up the colors in different ways. Sunsets fade out in a spectrum, but the spectrum can be broken up since clouds don't always line up right on top of each other. Clouds that pop out away from other clouds catch more light than clouds that are directly above other clouds. Clouds can also be in front of other clouds, making darker hues within lighter hues. I just played around with the colors, keeping the clouds within a certain range of colors based on where they were located. For example, I didn't put yellow clouds way up where the dark blue was. I also didn't put pink or purple clouds right where the bright yellow and white sun was. After I chose my favorite sunset variation, I moved that thumbnail to a new document and made it full size. I then added a few sharp and wispy details. This was done fairly quickly since I had my design pretty much established. There was no need to make major changes at this stage. After I finished this painting, I moved on to perfecting another one of my beginning sunset thumbnails. The one I chose next was a deep red sunset. Deep red sunsets happen when the sky is polluted with dust and other large particles. You often see deep red sunsets on savannas during the dry season. The lack of water makes dust easier to come off the ground and blow into the sky, which causes this cool effect. This sunset has no pinks, purples, or blues. It's simply a very saturated red, orange, and yellow. My beginning thumbnail didn't have enough value, so I also added a darker red as well into all my variations. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have added so many clouds since, like I said, these sunsets only happen in dry seasons. Clouds are made of moisture, but that's okay. This can be a sunset right before it rains. The next sunset I did was a pale sunset. This sunset has all the colors, but unlike my first bright tropical sunset, this sunset is a bit washed out. Colors being washed out in sunsets happen mostly due to pollution. Unlike in tropical areas, this sunset is probably in a place that doesn't have constant rain to clean out the air. Pale sunsets can also happen when there is evenly spread moisture in the air, like mist, for example. Mist is another form of pollution that can block your eyes from seeing saturated colors. This is one of the reasons that sunrises are usually paler than sunsets. Mist condensation is usually greater in the mornings than in the evenings. For this sunset painting, I tried to make the top clouds really pop out and travel forwards towards the viewer instead of straight across the horizon. I think I succeeded with this yellow cloud. The yellow cloud looks like it's traveling forward due to its triangle shape. Things get larger the closer they get to the person looking at them. A triangle shape makes the front of a cloud larger than the back of the cloud, creating the illusion that the cloud is getting closer to the viewer as it travels forward. After I finished the pale sunset, I selected my last sunset to draw from my original 9 thumbnails. This sunset has grays, tans, oranges, yellows, reds, and blues. I don't know exactly what would make these sorts of colors in a sunset, but I'm guessing it would be a mixture of pollution and storm clouds. Clouds with lots of moisture in them tend to lose color and become more gray, dark, and pale. As I explained before, pollution also causes colors to fade. In this sunset, I tried to add more dimension to the cloud formations by adding some forward perspective to the clouds like I did with the pale sunset. Like all the rest of my paintings, I just experimented with different cloud shapes and different ways light could be hitting them. After that, I picked my favorite variation and sharpened up some of the edges and added in smaller details. These are my 4 final sunsets. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon if you would like to be notified when I post new videos.